Welcome back to Color Class. I'm Sarah, and today's video I'm going to be discussing why certain colors just feel wrong. And it's not just you. There are certain colors that you put on and you just instantly feel like, ugh, this doesn't look great on me. And it's not just a personal preference, it's actually a lot more to do with psychology, and we're going to get into all the different reasons today. So how come our body and our brain can reject a color? Well, this kind of comes back to color discomfort. Human vision has 3 types of cones: red, green, and blue. And when they're overstimulated, it can kind of create a tension. And we don't really like to see that tension in our eyes. That's why certain neon colors can create eye strain, and it can make it hard to focus because it's oversaturating and overstimulating our cones in our eyes. Some colors can cause fatigue or strain because our eyes are working so hard to try to interpret them. And there's also something called chromatic tension, when these colors are kind of going against each other and creating tension between 2 shades. So of course, we don't really like to see that. And it's kind of creating this fight with our undertones as well. So that was all about color discomfort. Now we're going to move to psychological effects of color. And this has to do with more of our core memory and our response to certain colors that we've seen before. As you know, color can trigger emotions and memories. So that's another thing that can cause a discomfort with certain colors. I always think clinical white. Whenever I see something really intense in white, I think more like surgical. I think of more of a hospital. While others might see certain neon colors as more of hazardous, I think of street signs, stuff like that. It kind of creates emotional baggage of color for us. And of course, most of these are created by negative experiences. Now, there are certain colors that we absolutely love, but that more is to do with how it makes us feel. Now, of course, research shows that we can kind of create these from negative experiences. So just be mindful when looking at color to determine your best shades. Now let's get into more of the color analysis aspect of this. When does a color harmonize with you, or is it fighting or competing against you? Well, this is now more of an optical effect instead of the emotional effects I talked about earlier. Now, first off, I'm going to talk about the 6 dominant characteristics. Of course, I think I do that in every video, but a color can go against your depth. So light to deep. Does this color, are you extremely light and this color is very dark? Well, it's going to stand out. It's going to become intense. It's going to be overpowering. And the same goes for color temperature. If a color is very cool and you're a very warm person, that's going to go against you. We talk about you could go more yellow or you could go more gray with color temperature. And lastly, chroma. And this is where it really kicks in for me because I am a dominant soft. So whenever I see extremely high chroma colors, I instantly think, oh, this is going to be so hard to pull off. So chroma has a huge aspect. Are you soft or are you clear? Is that color extremely intense? Because it makes me think I have to work a little bit harder to make that shade work for me. Or if it's a very soft color, it's a little bit more calming to me. It's a little bit more enriching. So I am probably on the opposite end of the spectrum for all you clear springs and clear summers and winters out there. You probably look at your palette and think, oh, I love how bright and bold and fun these colors are. But for me, it's a little bit different. And we do this a lot in our color portfolios. Lucinda and I will be on a call and we will give you a palette of shades that we don't quite recommend. And it's so funny because whenever I have a clear winter, for example, and I'm like, okay, these shades are probably shades that I wouldn't recommend. They're usually a little bit warmer. They're a little bit more muted. And I'm like, wow, these shades are beautiful. But they see them and they're like, oh, I do not enjoy those shades. I would never wear them. I don't like them. And I'm like, oh, that hurts my heart. But of course, when it's the opposite, it's the same thing. We could have a very soft person when we're doing their color analysis, and we'll give them all these bright, intense shades. And they're like, yes, those shades do not look good on me. I do not like them. I would never wear them. So really, there's a huge psychological and the way we see color. It really does make a difference in a color analysis. So let's talk about how to identify some of these color icks. I'm going to use icks because I don't really know what else to call them. So this is really just going to be how to test how a color looks. And it's not just your perception of a color. And that's always going to be to hold it up, to drape yourself. A key thing in color analysis is to drape yourself. Now, of course, use natural lighting. Right now, this is not a great example because I'm in like bright lighting and I have it wrapped all around me to make this video for you. But really go in some natural lighting midday, see what shades look like and flip back and forth. What we're looking for: shadows, fine lines, and do you disappear? If you flip to that color and the color is the first thing you see and it's standing out before you see yourself, then that color is probably a little bit too intense or it's off for you. So that's going to be the one way to check doing that method. Now, there are more methods that we can try. The blink test. And I'm going to link we did a whole video on a bunch of different tests that you can do. I'll link them, but these are just like some of the tops that I definitely wanted to pull and share with any of our new subscribers today. Now, if you're doing the blink test, you close your eyes, you open them, and if that color is taking too long for your eye to adjust, then it's probably not right for you. So if you are trying to instantly look at yourself and that color is just so powering and overpowering for you, then that's probably not the best shade. And then of course, more of an emotional test, I wanted to bring something back. Does it drain you? Do you feel like the energy is being zapped from you? Because that's another thing. I feel like yellow kind of does that to me. It almost is like and yellow should be such like a high stimulating color, but on me, just because of the reflectivity against me, I feel like I look so tired. It makes my fine lines and wrinkles show more. It just grays me out. So that's something else to look for, is like almost like an energizing test. So try out these 3 things. Also down below, I'll link the whole video of a bunch of other tests you can try. Now, I'm always going to bring it back to color harmony. Once you figure out your season, you start seeing harmony everywhere you look. And then you'll start learning, okay, that's why those colors look off on me. That's why I don't feel like myself. That's why I don't love or enjoy certain shades. It's because they don't really look that great on me. Now, this can be a little bit difficult if you are somebody that dyes your hair often. Maybe, I'm trying to think, you wear contacts and you change up your eye color often, or your skin tone. Maybe you do a lot of fake bronzing and you will do a lot of spray tanning. That can adjust these things. So while, in the summertime you are very warm, you go more golden blonde, it can adjust you in the summertime versus the wintertime when you aren't fake tanning or you aren't going warm blonde, you're going cool blonde instead. So there are a few things that I just want you to be mindful of when you're adjusting for like the year, or if you're making big life changes, you're dyeing your hair. These tests can throw you off a little bit, and you do have to redo them if you make changes. Now, as always, our palettes, and you can get a custom color analysis done with us. Links are down in the description. If you would like any help determining if a certain shade is right for you, or you want to post an image of maybe a dress you got and you're wondering, does this work for me? Hop on over to Patreon. We have so many. I think Lucinda keeps like updating it. We're like at 1,800 people right now, and we have some really great color analysts there. So I highly recommend coming on over to Patreon and checking it out. Just remember, next time you get kind of that gut reaction that something seems off, or something doesn't look great, you're probably right. And you probably are just wearing the wrong shade. So trust yourself, trust your brain. It knows what it's doing. We say this a lot, but your instincts are good. Your color analysis instincts are really good. And if you watch any of our videos, you're starting to learn more. You're starting to pick up more items that may be really great for you or not so great, that are bringing more contrast. If you're somebody who's softer and you need to pump it up a little bit more with your coloring or your clarity. So at the end of the day, thank you for joining me today. Lastly, I'm Sarah. This has been another color class, and I'll see you in our next video.